this is our very first one, this is Dane Zook. He is running for District 6, and he's a newcomer. So basically, Dane, thank you for taking the time to do this. Why don't you give us a little background of yourself and kind of why you're running for county board?
I can do that.
Okay, great.
Like you stated, my name is Dane Zook. I'm a local guy. I was born and raised in Augusta. Went to school there. Went beyond high school to a business school and got an accounting degree and went to work. After a while, got married, started raising a family, and continued with the work. After a few years, a company I did work for transferred me from the accounting era to their sales department. Primarily automotive products of different types, all over the northern half of Wisconsin. And for the next several years I had other employment, but it was all in that field. And that was because the first guy had diabetes real bad and had to get out of business, and the second guy I worked for retired, that type of thing. So after I retired, just being around home and having plenty of energy, I was asked to drive a school van at Fall Creek, and that's where I live now. And so I transported some autistic kids and parochial school kids, other errands for Fall Creek School. Then they went beyond that. Those kids got big enough to take care of themselves. So I went over to Dove Healthcare because I spend a lot of time out there. My elderly mother is there and I'm her caretaker. So I'm now a big volunteer out there because I love the organization, and I drive a wheelchair van for them.
Okay.
In Fall Creek, which where I live now and have for 45 years, my wife is there. She was a valued employee at Fall Creek School, and we raised 4 boys there, and they're all doing fine. So what I did is the former president of the village of Fall Creek had passed away, so I stepped up and said, is there something I can do, and became a member of the Fall Creek Village Board. I have served the last 2 terms and done some nice things and promoted some great activities for the village. Now I thought it was time to let somebody else do it, and as soon as I announced that I wouldn't be running again, several people came to me and said, would you consider the county board? And that puts me here today. I'm familiar with the board because I've spent some time with planning committees that are here and development committees. The housing forum, I attended a lot of their meetings, transportation meetings. I spent last year at the Ag Resource Committee with County Conservation Department, and I'm currently then on the Eau Claire River Watershed Committee and several others. It also put me in line to be president of our inland lake, which is the Fall Creek Pond.
Okay.
So I strive to do all of those things, and like I said, I was asked to do this, so I'm willing to try.
Well, that's great. What are your biggest aspects that you think you can bring to the board?
Lots of years of experience guided by common sense. I guess I try to do a good job. I'm always willing to do a little extra research rather than just make an opinion.
Okay.
And I think that's valuable in most cases.
Okay. If elected, what is some of the first things that you think are important topics on your list of things to be addressed?
Yeah, I'm not in tune with the internal elements right now of the county, but what I've seen with the planning department, the housing development group, and the Rivershed group, I think it's just you want to get into those groups with an open mind and see what you can contribute. And like I said, be willing to do the legwork, get the research done.
In your experiences, and you've had quite a few of them, have you ever been in a position where you had to make decisions of something had to be cut, or maybe there was something that needed to be increased? And how did you approach that? Was it any kind of examples?
I was on the finance committee at the Village of Fall Creek in the last 4 years. We've done some, I think, valuable work in that regard, because we're like so many entities. We're a small group, so you're asking a small amount of people to pay for the same commodities that everybody else has to pay for, but you can't share it with as many of you. So there's always that element, and growth is important. Because I was a former accountant and have a degree in that, it's easier for me to look at budget numbers and understand what they might be in play there, and to me that gives you a leg up on how to decide those needs.
That's really good. When you look at the bigger scope of things, what direction do you think, as a county supervisor, you would like to take the county? In what direction?
Primarily growth. I think the city of Eau Claire is the biggest portion of it, and they have done wonderful things with the Confluence project, a lot of the things at the university, the new Sonotag project on Menominee Street. And I'd also like to see a lot of that kind of thing eastward towards the other part of the county.
Okay. Could you just know, we're just about done, so I'd like to know, what is your statement to your constituents to say, these are the things that I am looking to help improve, and that's what I think I can do if elected?
I have a track record in the Village of Fall Creek in government now, and it's an open book. People can see that things like our pond renovation project wasn't really being done at any rate. I've increased that rate. I now have a lot of research in a booklet that's available to see where we're going to go next. I enjoy doing that type of thing. I think that they can see in the 2 terms that I've had, I have several items that I've brought to the village that we now implement that I think are very beneficial for the taxpayers.
Okay. Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Is there anything else that you'd like to let your constituents know?
Vote for Dane Zook for county board.
That's a good plug.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Yep.